Hey everyone, NoModMaster here. Next on our list at number 32 is Tenpines Bluff. Tenpines Bluff has an area rank of 21 and a height limit of 3 floors. Tenpines Bluff is also a caravan merchant stop for armor and clothing merchant Lucas Miller. It should be noted that this is not an easy settlement to ally with for lower level players, because whether you go through the Minutemen or find Tenpines Bluff on your own, they're going to want to have you clear out Corvega Assembly Plant in order to gain access to the settlement. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they have you clear out Walden Pond instead, but most of the time you're going to end up having to clear out Corvega Assembly Plant, making this settlement very difficult to gain access to early in the game. Keep in mind guys, you're going to want to clear out the rad roaches living in this dilapidated house, because this is the only place in the settlement that has a bed that's not assigned to the settlers. That is, unless you build your own. So just clear these guys out and then you'll finally have at least somewhere to sleep when you visit this settlement. So once you guys clear out Corvega Assembly Plant, you'll finally gain access to the settlement. So Tenpines Bluff is just a tad bigger than Outpost Samonja. The downside is that Tenpines Bluff has a height limit of 3 floors, making it feel a lot smaller. The other downside is that Tenpines Bluff has a lot of obstacles, like hills, little cliffs, holes, walls, and structures that can't be removed. The plus is that it does come with this little tato farm, which is useful for lower level players early on in the game. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to cover up these walls, because there's quite a few of these walls throughout Tenpines Bluff, and I know a lot of people don't like them. I very much do not like them as well. One of the great ways to cover these up is using floors with concrete foundations. You can also use the floors with wooden foundations as well. All this does is allow you to utilize more space in the settlement. You don't have to build around these walls, just build right over them. Okay, so next I'm going to show you guys this big hole over here. So do the same thing with this hole, just use some concrete foundations and cover it up. You don't even need to use foundations, you could just build right over this with regular floors. There's a couple other settlements that have holes like this, and I'll point them out as we come across them. Okay, so once you guys are done covering up the holes and the walls, then you're going to want to deal with this dilapidated structure. And I've realized that the best way to deal with this is just to repair it. So that way you can put a roof back on it and then put beds or utilize it for a business, whatever you want. So this is what I did. I just turned mine into a robotics factory, Tenpines Bluff Robotics. And this is how I covered it up. I used warehouse pieces for the most part, mixed with a little bit of vanilla pieces. So this pretty much covered up the best to my ability, and I put a little business next to it to try to disguise it a little bit more. I might do the same thing on the other side so that it really blends in and people don't realize that it was once a pre-war structure, at least not completely. So that's what I did. You guys can do whatever you want there. You can just try to cover it, or like how I did, you can try to utilize it. This settlement's kind of a weird shape when it comes to that structure. I noticed if you come back here, you'll notice that the corner of it kind of creates this awkward space behind there. So if you're trying to utilize every inch of the settlement, it might get kind of awkward when you try to build behind that dilapidated structure. Next, it should be noted that you're within walking distance of Outpost Samonja. And Outpost Samonja is pretty much the only settlement within this area. So whenever you are building in this region of the map, it's smart to build up one of these settlements first and then use the other one as a crutch so you're not struggling. Next, don't forget to scrap some of the items that come with this settlement upon gaining access to it. There's not too much stuff, but there is a few things if you look closely. So a lot of people may miss the fact that there's quite a few cinder blocks of concrete in the ground here around this little shack that they've built. So scrap all of those and you'll get a good amount of concrete from this settlement. There's also a few workstations that come with this settlement, but nothing too significant. You guys can also scrap the trees in the settlement, and that'll make a pretty decent amount of wood for you as well. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.